Mondays with Mayfield has a certain ring to it, doesn't it?
Mayfield and Mayo.
A baker's dozen. We could have some sort of a baker's dozen when it comes to touchdown passes. Sean.
Yeah, can you leave the food jokes to Greg now, Shime? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, you got it.
Wiggy doesn't like it. He only wants to pay a quarterback like Cam Newton $30 million.
No. Don't get it twisted.
I'm not getting it twisted.
If the Patriots didn't have the number 3 overall pick, then I might be interested in Baker Mayfield. But why would I want Baker Mayfield when I'm sitting there?
Well, he's a proven commodity. The guy you draft with that 3rd pick is not a proven commodity.
Yeah, but what veteran do you want then? Because isn't that their plan to get a veteran and then
Jacoby Brissett? I can care less.
You would rather have Jacoby Brissett than Baker Mayfield?
Because if I have Jacoby Brissett, that means I'm the number 3 overall pick is a quarterback. If I sign Baker Mayfield, the number 3 overall pick probably is not going to be a quarterback that they draft. Because if you're signing Baker Mayfield, it's not going to be for a 2-year deal. I don't know what you people are missing here. If you sign Baker Mayfield,
we're not just so you know, if we have an opinion that differs from you,
I'm not saying
we're not missing something.
No, but the point that I don't get that you're not getting, I said I want a quarterback at number 3.
Right. You're certain that with that 3rd pick, you're going to get a lockdown 10-year quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. You are firmly convinced of that.
That's the
good luck, I say to you.
So good
luck.
Are you certain that by getting Marvin Harrison, he's going to be a standout wide receiver?
I'm more certain at that position. Yes, I am. And with that lineage, yes, I am.
Well, then that's wrong of you to be certain that way because the draft is a roll of the dice no matter what it is. So if I'm going to roll the dice, if I'm going to gamble, what's going to pay? Shime, you're a gambling man.
Sure am.
Anybody who gambles, a lot of times, they're looking for the biggest payout. So if I'm going to gamble, why not gamble on if I do hit on the quarterback and if I do hit on the wide receiver, which one is more likely to give me a better outcome of my franchise? And that's the quarterback.
Here's what I would say, Wiggy, and I agree with you. I think the Mayfield contract, not like it matters, is going to come back to look awful. He's had a great year, and whenever anybody's actually believed in Baker Mayfield, he's sucked. But I could be wrong. However, if the Patriots look and they say Drake May, if there's one guy that they think is going to be great, and he's not there at 3, then I would trade the pick. Or I wouldn't just take a quarterback because that reminds me of the Mac draft where you just stayed there at 15 and waited for a guy to fall into your lap. If they really like one of these guys, I'd either say trade up to 2, or I would take Baker Mayfield and then draft Marvin Harrison Jr. But here's the issue. The Patriots' defense is really good. And if they get a quarterback that's decent, then Gerard Mayo's first year is going to be a potential playoff year.
Or they might look at this year's draft and go, all 3 of those quarterbacks are good, and whichever one we get, we feel confident.
Listen, you and the professor know better than I. So can you give me when was the last time that there were 3 quarterbacks, 1, 2, 3, that all hit?
Well, they're not all going to hit.
Okay, they're not.
Okay, so how about the 2020 draft? The first 3 quarterbacks, I went back 10 years. I did a little bit of this research. The first 3 quarterbacks, Burrow, Tua, and Herbert. Burrow looks pretty good. Tua's kind of like,
he's fine. He's serviceable.
And Herbert is considered to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league, right? So you look at you want to go back to 2017? Here's your first 3 quarterbacks: Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson.
Trubisky stunk.
Trubisky stinks. Mahomes and Watson.
Watson.
Well, Watson has fallen off. I say he's definitely fallen off.
Off the field issue.
With off the field issue. But
you're hitting about 500 now.
Right.
With those 2.
So if I'm looking at the draft and I'm sitting there at number 3 and I go Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels, all these guys are going to be franchise quarterbacks for the next 10 to 12 years.
But there's a chance the Patriots don't see it that way.
And if they don't see it that way, then I would be like, all right, well, what way are you seeing it? Because what team has went to a Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl with just an elite wide receiver?
But you're not.
I'll hang up and I'll let you guys talk.
You're not competing for a Super Bowl right now.
But my point is, when you look at the teams that win Super Bowls,
Well, I mean, Burrow got to one. What was Burrow before he had the guy
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. But
So
you
he's not
had,
injured the entire
you had a legit number one quarterback. If they just had Jamar Chase and no Joe Burrow, it's going to be much harder for hit if they have Joe Burrow and
let me ask it this way:
player X.
Of those three quarterbacks that we talk about as going 1, 2, 3, most likely, who do you think is the least likely to hit?
Out of the three quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels.
That's the one he wants.
I don't know. I mean, what tells you that he's most likely the least likely to hit?
He's just asking your opinion.
Yeah, I'm just asking your opinion. So
if I had to go one,
I mean, it seems like Caleb Williams is going number one, and that's what it seems like, right?
Yeah, he will almost certainly go number one. Whether it's the Bears there or not, he will certainly go number one, in my opinion.
I would say Caleb Williams. If you're telling me out of those three, who's most likely to what was it?
You think he's the least likely to hit out of those three?
Yeah, because I think he's going to have the most pressure on him. Whereas Drake May, because they all got good arms, they're all good athletes. You know, Drake May's probably the lesser of the two when it comes to athletic ability, but he's still a very good athlete. He still can run.
23 rushing touchdowns in 2 seasons.
And still can get out of a lot of stuff and create plays with his legs. So
36 missed tackles forced.
So I think the biggest thing it's going to come down to is the mental part of it. Mm-hmm. And Caleb Williams probably is going to have the most pressure on him. So that's why I would only throw his name.
So you're saying you cannot build around you can't take a potential franchise wide receiver and get yourself a more than serviceable quarterback, Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, whatever it is, and build around that.
No, because look what they did.
I would disagree with you.
But I would say, Wiggy, you're being fraudulent here, not to use your own word against you. But what was Josh Allen before Diggs? What was Tua before they surrounded him with all that talent and Tyreek?
Josh Allen he had the potential to be good.
I'm not asking about potential. That's a 4-letter word.
Yeah,
I'm asking what was he before Stephon Diggs?
Stephon Diggs completely helped him out.
Okay, so is Josh Allen still the all-time franchise quarterback of the Bills if they didn't trade for Steph Diggs a couple years ago?
Maybe not, but here's the easiest way.
Tua, what's Tua today?
I agree with you, but
you're saying that
here's the way to do it. It's very simple. It's very simple, and we'll know the true fraudulence of where people lie. If you could only pick, and I was talking to some guy, this guy wanted to talk to me, and I think I was talking to him when I was going to get my truck, my oil changed. And he was
what do you mean this guy wanted to talk to you?
He worked for Jeep Chrysler, Herb Chambers, and I was getting my oil changed.
What did he want to talk to you about?
And he was talking to me about, Josh Allen, the quarterbacks. Okay. Yeah. And I said to him, very simple. I said, you have Josh Allen and you have Steph Diggs. You can only keep one. Who you keeping?
Well, but that's backwards. Because if we never met Allen with Steph Diggs, we wouldn't know it.
Right, but that's the question that I laid out to him. If you can only keep one, Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, and then I said Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. You can only keep one for each team. You always take the quarterback.
If it's Tua versus the receiver, I take the receiver.
He's probably the only one I would agree with you on that one. I would agree with you. I would take Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Oh, but he's the only one because I'm not a big fan of Tua. But if I'm looking at Josh Allen and Steph Diggs, give me Josh Allen because I can find another wide receiver.
See, I think if you could get Baker Mayfield 5 years or something, lock that down, and draft Harrison, and add that to your defense, which is at least a top 10 defense, maybe better. I like that approach. And at least you know what you have when it comes to quarterback.
And then get J.J. McCarthy later on.
Yeah. So what if you could get
Grimes guy?
What if you can get Jaden Daniels and then sign Mike Evans? Because Mike Evans said he wants to.
Breaking news: Mike Evans and the Bucks have agreed.
Oh, they did agree to a contract.
Did? That was in my trending.
Oh, is that this
just
morning?
broke.
Oh, wow.
It just broke.
Wow.
2-year deal.
All right. Well, there you go. Take Mike Evans off the table.
Boy, there are not going to be a lot of
Michael
wide
Pittman Jr. is the only.
No, because good free agents or good wide receivers get contracts. Hello, New England. Like if you have a guy on your roster, keep him.
Well,
let him go.
But that's the issue now. The more money there is in the NFL, and the less cap, even people can't even fake its existence into reality. teams with good players are not going to allow them to get to free agency.
Correct.
That's what the story's going to
So you're going to draft a quarterback, and
Yep.
who's he going to throw the football to?
Well, now you're going to have to go.
There's virtually nobody available.
Well, your second tier is Michael Pittman Jr.
He's probably going to get a contract from the Colts or a franchise tag.
Who else is free agent?
Curtis Samuel is available.
Or you have to look into maybe
Calvin Ridley?
trading, or you have to look into trading for a guy like Brandon Ayuk, or you have to look into trading for a player. Shime, who's the guy you brought up, the receiver?
T. Higgins?
Yes. Or you have to say, hey, maybe we'll give up our second-round draft pick to get one of those guys.
And maybe this is why Bill Belichick is scouting cheerleaders, because they're the best things in the market.
Yeah, with how stacked this receiver class is, though, like you could get a really good receiver with that first pick in the second round.
Right. So I would go in that
Class is
direction.
stacked.
I can already see the billboard at Patriot Place. If Rome Odunze was built in a day, we would have hired their
I love Roma
contractors.
Dunze.
Greg, I guess the point, what I'm saying,
We had it so good for so long, and now it just sucks.
when you look at it, you always take the quarterback. That's just the way the league is.
I just think that Wiggy,
And you roll the dice.
They have a wider view than we do. Like I think they aren't concerned about trying to find that franchise home run quarterback. They're going to wait for a guy that they love. And if they don't love one of these three guys, they're going to take a guy like Baker and then take another guy later in the draft to be a backup to see just in case he hits. And
Right.
they're just going to roll like that until they find a guy
That's
that they
where you
absolutely
get
love.
your JJ
McCarthy.
Onyx.
Right. That's where you
Michael
get them.
Penix.
And then you know what
Penix.
you become? You become the Minnesota Vikings before you got rid of Kirk Cousins.
Okay. What are you now?
No, you become, you have the best wide receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson. You have a solid quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and your quarterback puts up good numbers, but you don't really win much. So you could take the young guy and hope that he turns into a Josh Allen, hope that he turns into one of those game changers, and then now you just have to find the.
Yeah, I'm just saying to you, there aren't 3 Josh Allens. There are not 3 Patrick Mahomes in
Right.
this draft.
And another dark
So you
day.
better hit on the guy if he's your
but
franchise.
that's what you're doing. That's what the draft
Okay.
is.
And another dark day for Ken and the capologists like Gresh. The Patriots would never do the void years like the Bucks did on Brady. They're screwed. Somehow they just got $52 million for a guy that's 40 years old, that we're not, whatever he is.
$52 million?
Yep, $35 million guaranteed, 2 years, $26 million per.
What's that?
2
Mike
years,
Evans.
$52 million for Mike Evans.
Oh wow.
So that's 26 per for
Right.
Yeah,
a
but that's
wide
They're in
receiver
cap
that old?
jail. They're incarcerated.
Yeah, but that's where he is, though. Mike Evans is a $26 million
I
wide
agree.
He's
receiver.
ancient now.
No, he's
in the NFL world.
He had another year where he put up over 1,000. This is what every year he's been in the league. He's been 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah,
And he
I'm
had-
aware. I'm
he
aware
had
of how
double
good
digits,
Mike Evans
touchdowns.
is, but still.
But that's what the going price is for that guy. Like that's what do you think T. Higgins is going to get?
Now
That's-
he's going to get like 30.
But that's the going rate for a receiver. Would you consider Mike Evans, and I would, a top 5, top 6, top 7 wide receiver in the NFL?
No.
Mike Evans? No,
no.
he's probably
I mean,
right around 10.
10 or 11 or 12.
And Greg, you're the guy with power around here.
Yeah.
Can we please agree that the words salary and cap cannot be used together on this radio station ever again?
In any sport or just the NFL?
Like, God love Gresh. I was listening on Friday. It's like, it's not 2003. It's over. Like, stop creating this false reality. There is no cap.
10:49, Pole 49, final hour 101.
All right.
And
Gresham.
isn't that good for Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So if your Baker plan is now your quarterback, now you go from your theory was all right. I go the veteran quarterback, so now you might lose just like I lost Mike Evans. You might lose Baker Mayfield, so now it's Kirk Cousins.
Right.